Welcome to the Brutal Game. As always, I'm Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And Ron.
What's happening?
And on tonight's episode of the Brutal Game, we're going to recap Decision Day in the NWSL. And it was a wild one. Then we'll stay in the U.S. and we're going to shift gears over to the upcoming MLS Decision Day this weekend as we look out at a few of the big matches to keep an eye on in our 2-minute drill. All of that U.S. soccer talk before we whistle for the half as the Carolina Reaper of Chorizo and the hiking husband of hamburger, Ron, shares with us some back page worthy beer news and all the news that's fit to drink in this edition of Ron's Beer News. Carolina Reaper of the Chorizo is a good one. I like that one.
I figured you would.
Finally, we're going to close out the pod once again with the La Liga's Roundup. There it is. And a footy's headline, a footy headlines edition. But first, we're going to do a mini segment after our beer called the Ray Hudson quote of the pod. Get ready for it. We couldn't get enough Ray Hudson last time, so he's going to be on the episodes for a few more times.
Yes, and we'll come up with a new sound effect too, like because the Liga's Roundup has one, so now we need a Ray Hudson sound. I don't even know what that one's going to be yet, but we'll figure something out.
Magisterial.
Yes.
But first, we got to get to our beer. Hey, can I do a quick first though?
First.
Sure.
Yeah. Before the beer, shout out to Awesome Kim. He sent us a great email. Just kind of, I loved it. It was like updating, like what's up, dudes? Here's what's going on in my world. Because he was, obviously Kim had won our fantasy Premier League this past season. We'd asked for him to send us his size and stuff for the kit, but it was really great, hearing from you, Kim, and seeing and hear about everything that was going on your side of the world. And thank you for making this Arsenal fan buy you a Spurs jersey. There you go.
It was great. He also was like, look, this is all going to be too long for social media message, so here goes. And then he just rips through the whole the whole thing.
Yeah. I also love the article that he shared with BBC about Zlatan having a good quote in it. I don't know if you plan on using that, Ferris, for your quote of the pod, so I won't touch it here.
I don't know. I had one already picked, but I'll have to go back through the email and look.
It's quite good.
Yeah. Take a look. It's a good one. And he agreed with our take on Diaz's VAR offsides, which I think all sane people do.
Yeah.
And I do love it that, Kim, you hadn't been able to make it to a Miami game since Messi's shown up because everything is triple expensive. But dude, it was really good to hear from you, man. Thanks for reaching out and letting us know what's up, man. It made my day to get your email.
Yeah, great job. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kim.
Okay. Shall we move on to the beer, gents?
Hit it, buddy.
All right. So, and sticking with since I'm up here in Connecticut, I am. I'll send you guys a picture. You will like the art on this can a whole lot, Ron. I got from a brewery called Reverie Brewing. What started as quietly thinking about relaxing at the end of the day with an IPA quickly flourished from pining over the success of other craft breweries to the reality of creating floor plans and refining beer recipes. Reverie Brewing Company's vision is to create and promote high-quality, great-tasting beer for beer lovers to enjoy. We strive to be a positive and honest partner to the community and to brew craft beers with integrity and sustainability. And these dudes are located over in Newtown, Connecticut. So not too far from me, going to need to check them out. And I am drinking their beer called Futz. And it's got a cool graphic art of a ton of hammers and a file and tape measure. It's all construction. It's a Saison, and it says their can, this is what's on the can. Hey, you want to go check out that new restaurant today? Nah, I just feel like futzing around today. Maybe just put a couple of screws in this piece of wood or something. How's about we work on fixing up the storage shed then? Get off of the old to-do list. Nah, I mean, I want to use my tools, but kind of in a directionless way. Just futzing around. You think I could get you to futz around with the garbage disposal for a little while first or do something? Or do I need to invite my family over for dinner? Oh, fine. But then I'm just futzing around for the rest of the day. The beer you hold is a fine example of a classical Saison. No frills, no thrills, just as lightly sweet yet dry, malty body, and is highlighted by a nice ester spice, perfect for futzing around with.
That's awesome.
Love it.
I love that it had a scene written on the side of it.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's a very kind of north of the Mason-Dixon line kind of word, futzin.
That's what I thought. So I thought, since it's I guess live in Pennsylvania for a while, but since I'm up here north of the old line, this seemed like the perfect beer. Ron, I sent you guys a picture of what that can art looks like. It's pretty cool.
Oh, perfect.
But very clean can art. It's that classic silver can, slap the sticker on it, small canning facility kind of thing, which I love to see.
That's awesome. So this past weekend, I took the family on up to the mountains of North Carolina to do some hiking, just kind of get in general out of Dodge for a little while, and met my sister out up there. And she knows that there's a brewery near her house that I'm quite fond of, Mellow Mink Brewing from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. So she brought me a beer I haven't had.
Mechanicsburg?
Yep, Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania.
Love it.
If you go to, it's right near Harrisburg, essentially, if you know anything about Pennsylvania. Mellowmink.com. Mellow Mink Brewing is an all-inclusive craft brewery and a tap room in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. It is our goal to bring the traditions of both old and new world brewing excellence to our home on the west shore of the Susquehanna River. We strive to brew creative and delicious craft brews of the highest quality. So she brought me a crowler. That's 32 ounces.
The old 32-ounce crowler, eh?
Yep. Of a blackberry coffee stout.
Oh.
Interesting.
A small batch English oatmeal stout brewed with blackberries and French roast coffee beans.
Ooh. That sounds so fancy.
I know.
Right?
5.2 on the old ABV if you're following on home. And there's always something, every time you snag a beer from this place, kind of to go, whether it's bottles or cans, they always have such interesting artwork. And I say it's interesting. I mean, Ferris, I think you can see it kind of looks like intricate wallpaper, but that really kind of fancy wallpaper. You know what I mean? Like you only find it in Southern plantation homes kind of.
Yeah. Like a Southern plantation home cigar room or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Where they're having
That's
brandy.
very specific.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're having brandy in the library.
Oh,
kind of.
yes. And like a late October, slight crisp in the air and a nice smoker's jacket. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what the can looks like. And we'll, of course, put pictures up on the website. But blackberry coffee stout. Little old
excited.
Crowler. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever
I
had
got excited for a moment. I thought it was like blackberry sour. I was like, where's Ron going with this?
One can only hope, Blake.
No, never.
I've had blackberry in sours before. And so it's like, I can understand where Blake is coming from. I don't think I've ever had it in a stout, though. I've had raspberry in a stout and various other things, peanut butter and vanilla and, a lot of those things that you usually find in stouts. But, man, I'm looking forward to having this in that bougie Abel.
Yeah. Well, shall we crack this up?
Why not?
We shall. Let's do it. I haven't had a Saison in forever. I'm excited.
Oh, I am jealous of you, Blake. I love a good Saison. It's one of those that's very rarely on tap anywhere, especially at breweries. But I always will get the Saison if it is on tap anywhere because
if you hear me dying, it's because it was really carbonated, and I was trying to suck up all the foam.
Oh, and we don't have you on camera today because of some internet stuff. Oh,
yeah, you missed out on that. Sorry, I almost just died trying to do this pod. Ooh.
We're glad you didn't. Ron, we're having to get creative because the only tulip type glasses we got are these little 5-ounce shooters. So we're going to have to pour and pour, but we'll get through this.
Oh man, I can tell from the smell. You would love this Saison. Woo, it's a lot of head. Man.
Oh, you smell that blackberry, eh?
Boy, do you.
Ooh, Nelly.
I forgot how carbonated some Saisons can get, buddy. This one is. She's a carbonated.
This one, the blackberry just jumps right out at you.
I've come to a colder climate where I'm like, is something wrong with my fridge? The beer doesn't feel cold. Oh, it's because the fridge is maybe a little warmer than outside right now. Maybe that's why.
Yeah. So you know what you should do? You store your beer out on the porch.
Yeah, there you go.
Like a good Canadian.
Although I will say, they do have blackberry here too. So I did not escape the blackberry.
Okay. Well,
yeah, but they're not going after your beer.
that's true. Not yet, anyways. Not until he puts it out there.
I have seen otherwise in my life. So, all right.
All right.
All right,
Let's
shall
try
we?
it. Cheers.
Cilantro, boys.
Cheers. Oh, man.
Whoa.
7.1% alcohol. This is quite good. Dry, malty body. Yep.
That's the name I dance under.
I know, right? It is that the description on the can is one of those instances where it is like it is perfectly suits exactly what it's saying it is. This is awesome. I have so many beers to get to you guys. Like I gotta figure out how I can I ship beers?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, you can.
I've
I've shipped entire growlers to people across
true.
country.
All right, I gotta get some of this stuff to you guys. Sorry. Ooh, try to cut as the blackberry style.
Interesting, good, smooth, not heavy. A slight at the very end taste of Robitussin.
Wow, I don't get that at all.
Oh, okay.
This beer for me comes in waves. And it tastes a lot like that fruity berry taste that you have when you have like a chocolate silk pie, right? That kind of lingers in the background.
Sure.
Right. So for me, when I drink this, I immediately get the smoky coffee taste.
Okay.
Then it goes kind of fruity, a little bitter, and then dies off completely.
Right.
Right?
See, mine doesn't die off. The wave continues.
Hold on.
Okay.
Then if you continue to breathe through your mouth,
Okay.
right, you circulate air over your tongue, I get a whole host of those flavors in waves again and again and again.
Robitussin.
I don't get Robitussin.
And then Robitussin.
I don't
know why
medicine.
my mind thought of that when I. It's good. I mean, I'm not saying like it's good though.
It is 100% a dessert beer.
Yeah.
If you had this with, like this isn't a stout you have on a cold day.
No, this is like
you wanna
after
warm
a
up.
nice like
You could had a good
venison
steak.
meal, and then
Right.
you go over to the cigar room with your smoker's jacket,
Yeah.
and you sit there with a glass of brandy, and
Yeah. I think
not a
this-
glass of brandy. Well, you could do both,
You could.
but this would be a good second.
I think this paired with a white chocolate mousse pie
Oh, lovely.
would be absolutely incredible.
Chef's kiss, my friend.
I feel like this pod just got way too bougie.
Oh, well, I mean, we're channeling the label.
We bouge it up every now and again.
Oh, this beer is incredible. I could
We need to do a bougie beer one day. Bougie beer thing.
Oh, yes.
Mm.
Offered.
Pinkies up.
Chop.
Things up. Gotta get top hats.
Yeah.
We just attach a magnet to.
I don't care what we have to do. I'm wearing a monocle.
I have this mustache. Can I wear a monocle?
I mean,
I guess
we can both do monocles.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll do the monocle on the stick.
Oh yeah, and then I'll do the one that like
You got to pinch your eye
yeah,
closed.
you gotta.
Yeah. I like that.
You guys know what I'm talking about, but this saison is like I'm having to keep pour the can in slowly because it's got so much head retention and so much carbonation. It looks like a lunar landscape on top of my beer, like it's all mountains and stuff.
Okay,
Nice.
Mars.
Brilliant.
I mean, I'm just saying. That's definitely the vibe that it's given. It's giving lunar landscape, as the kids say.
Lunar landscape.
Yeah, because it keeps like mountaining up as I pour it. Like it is a head that doesn't want to go away. it wins the head retention award.
Nice.
That's for sure.
Okay. All right.
Well, shall we move on, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Blake?
Ron, there was a question, though,
Yeah.
I meant to ask you from Kim's email before we strode to your quote. I don't want to mess up your beer news for later, but he had asked, because he had just found some last month, some Christmas beer from Anchor and grabbed it real quick, stashed it. Did you ever hear, whatever happened with the employees with Anchor Brewing?
So after I read Kim's email, I went and did some homework, and that's going to be the subject of today's beer news.
Oh, man. Boom. Mr.
So-
Kobayashi, thank you very much.
So is it the?
Love
I think of this really quickly. Is it the Southern Gent of Salami and the Japanese jalapeno popper of the Spurs? Kim's beer news.
I feel like it should have been like Togarashi peppers, maybe, or something.
Okay,
Should have gotten there.
it was. Hey, listen, it was on the cuff. It was on the fly.
Some 7-taste spice.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's actually
direct
be Kim's
translation.
beer news this time. Okay.
I love it. Excellent. All right, well, let's get us to the football. And by doing that, Ron's going to give us a Roy Hudson quote of the pod. We'll see how long this segment lasts.
As electrifying as a hairdryer thrown into a hot tub, my friend. He's a god. I love it.
They'll never get old.
I'm pumped for
All
some
right.
soccer talk.
We are going to talk about some NWSL Decision Day. Well, this past Sunday, between 5 and 7 p.m. Eastern Time, if you weren't keeping tabs on the race for the playoffs in the NWSL, then I don't know what you were watching, because boy, oh boy, was Decision Day filled with goals and surprises. So before the games kicked off at roughly the exact same time on Sunday, all but 2 teams were in the running to make the 16 playoffs in NWSL. Only Kansas City Current and Chicago Red Stars were officially eliminated from contention before kickoff. Also, only 2 teams, Portland Thorns and San Diego Wave, were guaranteed playoff places. So that meant 8 teams out of the 12 were playing for the right to make the NWSL 2023 playoffs.
Which I'm going to interject with you real quick. Today, they're going to be playing for a new NWSL trophy and the Golden Boot trophy, or I'm sorry, the MVP trophy. Just announced today. The NWSL announced new trophies that look awesome. So go to their socials to see those.
The shield went out, right? The not the supporter shield, but it is like the supporter.
Yeah,
what is
I don't
the-
know if they get anything for that. I'd have to look at that again, but we'll get to that here.
Oh, they did only because I saw them all dancing
Oh, yes.
with it.
Yeah.
But I forget. It's not called the supporter shield in the NWSL, is it? Or is it?
I think it's called something else.
Okay, I can't remember. You know, that one with all the points. So here we go. The Oil Rain made a brace from Megan Rapinoe in her last NWSL regular season match, and they won 3-0 on the day. Heck of a way to go out for Miss Rapinoe.
Despite 2 quick goals by Gotham in what was Ali Krieger's last regular season match as well, Kansas City fought back to tie it up at 2 apiece. Sad to see Ali Krieger go.
And on the day, Orlando Pride, in Marta's 100th game for the club, all 100 at the club, one of the very few players to do that, at the same club, I should say, ended up scoring the game-winning penalty in like the 86th minute to win 1-0 at Exploria against the Houston Dash.
And then an early red card by Trinity Rodman proved to be costly, as North Carolina Courage went on to win 1-0 on the road at Audi Field.
Then in what was a wild match, Angel City, fighting for their playoff lives, put 5, oh yes, you heard it right, 5, past the league leaders at the time of the Portland Thorns, which 5 different goal scorers for Angel City saw out commanding 5-1 win at BMO Feed.
And that's proved costly, as in the final, in your new top of the table, and yes, Blake, Shield winners, I just confirmed that, San Diego Wave, behind goals from Jaden Shaw and Alex Alex Morgan also added an assist on that Shaw goal. Saw the Wave win 2-0 on the day against Racing Louisville, and they went top of the table because of that Thorns loss. So here's how the final table ends up. San Diego Wave, 37 points, 2 points above Portland Thorns, who finished in second, 2 points above North Carolina Courage, who finished in third. OL Reign, with that win, secured their place in fourth on 32 points. Angel City, 5 goals on the day, put them at 31 points and a +1 goal difference. I'll come back to that here in a second. Gotham, with that draw, still got a point, +1 on 31 points. Our Orlando Pride missed out barely on the playoffs on 31 points, but on goal difference of -1. Yes, they should have won on the road a few weeks back in Louisville where they were up 2-0 and we wouldn't be in this situation. But with that Angel City having a +4 goal difference on the day, that brought them all the way up to a +1, which means had Angel City won 2-1, Orlando City would have been in.
Yeah.
Wild. Washington Spirit, who actually Mark Parsons just got sacked today from Washington Spirit as they missed out on the playoffs with a -3 on 30 points. Listen, with that squad, plenty of U.S. internationals on that team, there's no reason the Spirit should not be making the 16 playoff. Louisville finished in 9th on 27 points. Houston Dash in 10th on 26 points, tied with Kansas City Current on 26 points. And Chicago Red Stars, who just had a tough year, lost Mal Swanson for the season, that sort of thing, ended on 24 points. So, gentlemen, what did you make of what was a fun decision day? And how are you feeling about how the final table and playoff places ended up?
Well, outside of it hurts that the Pride win but get knocked out. Like you said, though, they really should have won prior. I mean, you can't really ask for more out of a decision day if you want a competitive league to follow. There you go.
Yeah, especially because so many of the spots were, especially toward the bottom of the playoff spot, those were all decided.
Yeah. And
as opposed to decision day that we have seen, especially in the MLS, where really nothing is going to change.
Right.
So it was exciting to see so many, by the hours, so many in the live table, so many teams swapping places.
Oh, yeah.
As goals went in.
And even in this league in years past, those like top 5 were secured.
Yeah.
There was a big gap. There wasn't a big gap here. I mean, you're talking 24 points was the worst. That's 6 points out, 7 points out, 7 points out from making a playoff. And when we talk about the MLS here in a second, you'll see there too. U.S. Soccer has to be very happy with these decision days that the NWSL played and what the MLS is going to play this weekend, because I think only but 2 teams were out of it here. Only, I think, 4 total in the entire MLS out of 36 teams are out of it in that league. So this was an awesome, awesome day. It was fun being at the match. Largest crowd for the season for the Pride at 8,000 and change, largest in a while, but everybody on their phones, all of that. When that goal from, 86 minutes, she slotted it home, and you're thinking, I think all the players thought, okay, we're in this because they had to win. What they didn't know at the time, though, was that at that point, Angel City had already put 5 past Portland. So unless Portland scored a bag load of goals to kind of close that goal difference down in a way, the Pride just weren't going to get in. So, but ending on a high note, especially how the Pride started, they're going to look back on the season and go, a lot of early games where they gave up those late points, late wins, 8 draws and lost points, 2-0 up on the road with a second to the last game, and you give up and it ties 2-2. You're not in this boat. So,
well, I agree, but I also feel like the Pride had a real coming together about a third of the way through the season, because they didn't start the season on the front foot and had a lot of, kind of growing pains with players being injured, players leaving, etc. And, Seb Hines has really kind of helped pull this team together to make one that really believes in each other, plays well, trusts each other.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that they missed the playoffs by a goal, I'm actually like, that's super encouraging.
Yeah.
Right.
And by a point, right? Because they were tied on 31 points with the 5th and 6th team, just playing on goal difference. So like, yeah, I agree. And promise for next season, and we'll see what that brings. But yeah, absolutely. As an Orlando Pride fan, you have to be overall, disappointed on the day, but overall happy with how the season ended up with Messiah Bright, who will, who will be, the young player of the year, more than likely, and bringing in a Brazilian defender. Adriana had a great year. So a lot of good things there for the Pride. When you look at the top of the table, San Diego Wave, man, they could be the favorites. Now, I think it's going to probably end up with a San Diego-Portland final, but guess what? San Diego is where the finals is being played this year.
Right.
So that could be a bit of a home field advantage if they get there. But seeing these teams all season, Portland we saw at the very beginning of the Thorn season, and they just wrecked us. Better in the later half of the season. But seeing the Wave live, they're a good team. Casey Stoney, probably one of the best managers in the league. So those two teams with a bye, and you expect them to be full force from there on out. Gotham trailed off a bit. They started off pretty darn hot and then trailed off towards the end of the season and kind of rolling into playoffs, not on the best form, but not the worst form, just kind of there. Angel City have to be, I'm sorry, Gotham will take on the Courage. We know the Courage, just a stingy team, always play tough, do well in the playoffs. So we'll see if Gotham can get past them. Angel City have to be on an absolute high with scoring 5 goals against Portland of all teams to secure your place in. They're going to take on the OL Reign. Megan Rapinoe, what is going to be her last games. Angel City, a lot to play for. Young players. Just that should be a very, very fun game between 4 versus 5. And we'll see. But we'll certainly keep you updated on how the playoffs play out. I think they take place in like 2 weeks' time, if I'm not mistaken.
It'll be exciting. Yeah, one other cool thing about this league in general, if you look at every team's last 5 matches, every single one of them has at least 1 loss in their last 5.
And then what at least a win in their last 5? Or at least 2 wins? Is that what I'm seeing there?
At least a win. Yeah, because there are plenty of teams that have a single, right? Like North Carolina has a single win, 2 draws, a loss, and another draw. And then another single is Racing Louisville, 3 losses, 2 wins. Washington has 1. But really where I'm going with this is there is such talent in this league that it's not a given that your team is going to go to Chicago and have a win, even though they lost. They have the lowest spot in the table, right? There's such parity in the league, and any team could beat any other team on a given day. And I think that's what makes this league so much fun.
Yeah, and you have to. It's such a good advert for the league, especially to have a lot of those CBS games, to have a lot of the Paramount Plus games, and it's only going to grow, right? We have expansion taking place next year, which we'll see Utah Royals return to the league, and then I think 2 teams next year. I think San Francisco will join as well in the Bay Area, and then Boston, I think, the following year. So a lot of growth, and you're seeing that really rise here, and hopefully that continues, that momentum continues, across the pond. The WSL is taking off, so you're going to have some very competitive leagues, and it should be fun, not only in the playoffs this year, but next year to watch this league grow and hopefully can continue going forward with the women's game in this country.
Well, the playoffs will be fun. I'm excited. Any other thoughts there, Blake?
No, it should be great. Pardon me. Should be a good playoffs. I'm still like recovering from choking on that saison when I first started. No, like I said, you can't ask for a better closeout. You can't ask for a better competitive end to a season. Like, it's a blast. It's on Paramount Plus. The playoffs will be on Paramount Plus, or they're gonna be a big CBS.
I think there'll be. I think the opening rounds Paramount Plus and maybe CBS Sports Network. I think the final will be on CBS when that gets here. I don't know about the semis yet.
And a lot of players retiring.
Yeah, it's really going to shake up the things, you know? Krieger's goal line clear was pretty awesome, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And such a class player. Real quickly, we won't go into this too much, but yeah, we are aware that, news broke this week of Ashlyn and her filing for divorce.
Oh, no, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Bummer.
I've had a chance to meet both of them when they were here with the Pride. Got more interactions with Allie as one of the two polls that friend of the pod, Caitlin, did was of her several years back. She came over and was just awesome with her time and just so gracious. Just stood there and just like chatted with us for a bit, and got a chance to meet her when I got my hat signed as well, and just couldn't have been more of an awesome player. And I've heard that from several other folks that have interactions with her, both at the club when she was here with the Pride, and then just fans of the meeting her. So, she's a legend of the game, a 2-time World Cup winner as well. And we'll see how long she can keep that run going for Gotham.
Isn't that still a weird name? I know it's an old name for New York, but I just can't not think of Batman every time I hear it.
I think it's just weird because it's NJNY Gotham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've ever since when they first came out and renamed and rebranded the team, I said the exact same thing. Like, I get it, but it's just not in the normal vernacular.
Yeah.
So it's just weird.
Yeah, I think it's really weird too. And it's Batman now. Batman's Gotham. I know that
Allie
they took that
Krieger's
name
Batman
before, but you just can't.
I would watch Allie Krieger play Batman.
Absolutely.
Oh, hell yeah. You kidding?
Just crush.
All right,
people.
just does that wrap us up for our I can't even speak. NWLS. I almost called it the MLWS.
At least they're not
NWSL.
NWLsoccer.com like the next league we're going to talk about.
Are you sure it's not? It's not NWLS soccer?
Soccer.com.
I'm not. I think it is
/net
NWLS. The soccer
/gov.
Yeah, they struggle with that. This gets us to our 2-minute drills. So we're going to give you a bit of the MLS Decision Day preview. So in this episode, we're going to cover a few of the big matches to watch out for next week, or this week, I should say. On Saturday, either 6 p.m. Eastern Conference, for the Eastern Conference teams, or 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Western Conference teams in the 2-minute drill. The trutiful 2-minute drill. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a better name.
How much of that saison have you had already? Good Lord.
It went right to his head.
Yeah, it did.
It really, it's effervescent.
It's all those
Slaps
earthy
that ABV
tones.
straight up into your brain.
It's Blake's,
All right.
It's Blake's
Here we
giggle
go.
water.
Right?
Hey, that's something else I'm bottling and selling for later. I got a patent. That's trademark pending.
Sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to out you.
Well, let's do this. Get the clock rolling. Charlotte FC currently in 12th, 1 point from a play-in playoff spot, will take on an already knocked out Inter Miami for the second time in a week. Will Charlotte FC get in?
You know what?
That's a lot.
Here's the thing. It's kind of weird because they, as we just said, they are going to play them twice this week. So tomorrow, question mark? I believe in Miami's last game, no Messi because of the international break, Charlotte take on them. And then on the final day in this game that we're talking about, it will be at Charlotte. Now, Charlotte are currently in 12th on 39 points, 1 point behind that last spot, 2 points behind 8th and 41 points. I think Charlotte will get in. I could see them winning both games.
Yeah.
I would.
I'm going out on a little bit of a little edge there, but yeah, I think they get in.
I think they're going to get into. And it's always nice to see Miami lose, so I'll take it. Sorry, Beckham.
Is it just way too many teams in the playoffs? I mean, it's so funny to look at these slots.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, but it's good for the, as we were talking about the NWSL, excuse me, the only 4 teams are officially knocked out of the MLS, 2 in the East, 2 in the West. So kind of cool, kind of fun.
I think it's too much.
I think it's a little bit more actually in the East. They're talking about like 5 teams, but regardless, pretty cool. Oh, real quick before 2-minute drill ends, I'm gonna get this in. You said Beckham, the documentary on Netflix.
Fantastic.
Awesome. First episode, Pasha's like, we were from a hardworking family and we used to do this and we used to do that. And then David Beckham just opens the door kind of off camera, sticks his head in and goes,
don't lie.
Don't lie. Don't lie. Well, it's not. It's complicated in that way. He's like, don't lie. Tell him what you drove to school. No, it's not as easy as that. He's like, tell him what you drove to school. And she's like, a Rolls Royce. And then he just closes the door and leaves. Really cool, especially if you're a United fan or even just a fan of each of them. Really, really cool. Very well done.
Yeah.
That's Netflix?
Yeah.
Netflix, yeah.
Netflix.
And it's just called Beckham.
It's incredible.
We haven't talked about the Peter Crouch documentary.
Where does that come from?
On Amazon.
Oh, you have to send me that one.
Oh, okay. When this pod's over,
okay,
I need you guys to watch the trailer so we can talk about it,
Fair
because
enough.
you're going to see it and be like, how have we not heard about this? So anyway,
Okay.
moving on.
2-minute and 43-second drill.
I didn't want to cut off the Beckham stuff. Columbus Crew are already in, but will CF Montreal stay in, as they're currently on in eighth place on 41 points. So will Wilfred Nancy knock his former club out of the playoffs?
No.
Oh, Blake's going no.
Wow.
No.
Really?
Montreal, they stay in.
Really?
I'm really just saying that because now I'm not that far of a drive from Montreal, and I'm already making plans to go up and visit. So I'm going to go for Montreal. And I'm not going to pull for Columbus.
That's fair if you want to pull for Columbus. I don't think Montreal's coming in. We're talking about a few other games where results could go against their favor, and they also are one of the only teams up there with a minus 15 goal difference. That could play into that here a bit. And they're on 8th on 41 points with a whole host of teams on 40 points behind them, and then 39 and 38 respectively down the line. So I don't think they do.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think they make it in. Their lack of a defending midfield and lack of a good center back pairing that has been giving up goals the entire season is just gonna continue to give up goals in this game against Nashville. So I expect Nashville's gonna put, I don't know, probably
Columbus.
Sorry, Columbus.
The other yellow team,
right? I think they're gonna put 3 or so past Montreal in this.
CF Montreal's last 5 games, 2 draws, 2 losses, and a win in their last game. The other thing here, DC United, I said on the last pod, were in the playoff spot. They actually were officially, not even though being in that 9th spot, were officially out of contention last week on the pod. They were eliminated from the playoffs. Later that day, I think we talked about Wayne Rooney departed the club.
Bye.
And has since signed as manager of Tom Brady's Birmingham City. Both GOATs in Birmingham. Next field trip.
Which I don't understand the hiring of all these managers that have not proven themselves for anything. Rooney hasn't proven.
At Derby County, he did a bit. And he was dealt kind of a crap
Come on,
hand
he
here
didn't even have
DC.
a good bunch of teams to play against.
He also was deducted like 5, 10, 8, 3,800 points. That is Shrek in human form. You get off of him.
Oh yeah, he did get deducted all those. I
Yeah.
forgot
Yeah.
about that.
But he still hasn't proven squat as a manager. So sorry.
Whatever. All right. The other yellow team that Ron was going to, Nashville SC, already in, take on New York Red Bulls, who right now are tied on 40 points for that 9th and final place. They're one of those 3 teams that I was just talking about. Now, will the Red Bulls make it 11 straight seasons in a row with making the playoffs, gents?
Yes.
No.
I think they will. I don't think Nashville is the most consistent when it comes to
Fair.
the tactics of being able to employ the tactics they are supposed to. They give up stupid goals that they shouldn't be giving up because the defense switches off a little bit, and I just don't think that Nashville will be.
They're
consistent
powered
enough.
by hot, spicy Nashville chicken. They are going to have this, and it's time for the Red Bulls to take a break.
So
It's time for
I think the Red Bulls could. I think they could because Nashville already in, but could move up to that 6th place. And I don't know if they're really going to fight that hard to it because remember, first round of the playoffs, they're going to have to play 2 away matches, probably here in Orlando, and a home away and a home. So will they, or would they want to move up to play the Union? I don't know. It is in Nashville, so they may fight for that 6th spot, but I think the Red Bulls have a good shot here.
Yeah. Red Bull gives you wings. They'll fly right into the playoffs.
Sorry, I haven't left Tennessee yet, but I had to support it, so we're going to Nashville. All right, Chicago Fire in 11th on 40 points. New York City FC are in 13th on 38. The last place, which could potentially get in the East. Both make it or just one?
I don't think both do.
I agree with that. I don't think.
But then again, I don't know who's going to be.
I don't think both of them are going to make it. And I think New York City FC shouldn't make it just in the fact that they don't have an actual soccer stadium.
Damn right. So I'm going with you on that one.
No
Come on,
no.
Shaqiri and Chicago Fire.
Up the fire.
I mean, yes, exactly. I got nothing to add to that. I agree completely. Forget that noise. You don't have a stadium, you don't get to be in.
Go ahead and hit that beautiful party sound in New York.
And for those joining in, by the way, we are bitter because we sat in Orlando at what felt like a knife's edge of whether we'd actually get an MLS team or not. And they kept saying things that would be like a next impediment. And one of them is if we don't have our own soccer-specific stadium, you can't have a team. And then they let in NYCFC at the same time.
Same year as us.
Same year. So
Yeah.
just in
And
case
they
you're newer
said-
to the pod, that's where the bitterness comes
They
in.
said we couldn't play at Wide World of Sports at Disney, which you can understand, right?
Sure.
You wouldn't be able to get enough fans in there.
We couldn't play the Citrus Bowl.
Then they said you can't play at the Citrus Bowl, which has room for 60 some thousand people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they forced us to make our own soccer specific stadium
Which I'm glad because I love the stadium.
that the city wouldn't help us pay for.
Correct.
So the owners had to chip in, get
Correct.
sponsors, deal with that all themselves. They managed to do it, and it was still going to be a little bit of a question. Yet, NYCFC gets in, and they say, by the way, we're going to go play at the Yankee Stadium or the Met Stadium.
Well,
or
you
who
know
cares?
what? When's the last time that, I don't know, a U.S. men's national World Cup qualifying game has been played? We're not playing on a baseball field. When's the last time the U.S. women have played a game there or a tournament? Or the NWSL final played a final there?
Right.
Or Fulham take on Villa. It's not happening in the outfield of the right baseman who wants to steal second. Bunch of fucking Muppets. Sorry.
Love it. That's our other 2-minute drill. You can play the horn again, Ron. That was a bonus one.
Moving over to the West. Ron?
Over to the West. Portland Timbers are currently in 7th place, tied on 43 points. Not secured, though. but they take on the already in Houston Dynamo. It's at Providence Park, so do Portland get in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in 7th. I think they do. I also picked them in some picks MLS thing that we had. So, yeah, I think they do get in. The -10 is not going to help them, though, if they do lose. But I think I'm going yes.
I think they scrape in as well. I don't foresee them sitting on the outside looking in.
I'm trying to remember in our predictions who were some of our like crazy teams that don't get into playoffs.
I
want to say Portland might have been one.
Sure.
From somebody, but
But you're looking at the season through rose-colored glasses, and now you've got a whole bunch of play history for them, so it makes it easier to.
Actually, none of us had
Portland,
the biggest team to miss the playoffs. Right now, we're all not looking good.
Okay.
Ron's looking the best.
Don't say
because
don't say what
sure?
it is. No, wait for the end.
Okay, all right. All teams are in the East that we guessed, so I'll leave it there.
Okay.
All right.
I know I'm
All right. FC Dallas also tied on 43 points in 8th place. Take on the already knocked out of it LA Galaxy in LA. Will LA spoil Dallas's chances of getting in?
Does anyone care? I mean,
you know what? I hope Billy Sharp has another hat trick and just says "F you, Dallas Cowboys," and then just because he doesn't know that they're actually just "F you, Dallas Cowboys," and he nets 3 in, and then
I vote for that one. That's actually the best story. So yes, that's what I vote for. 3 goals from Billy F and Sharp.
Thank you, Blake.
Look, trying to help you out there. I didn't want to blow the bleep budget.
I'm sorry. I have a hard time caring about either of the teams. So I'm like, who cares?
But at least you know Galaxy already out. So winning means nothing.
Yeah.
Now, on to probably the 2 most important matches in the West. First up, San Jose are currently holding down the 9th and final spot on 43 points as they take on, in San Jose, Austin FC, all right, who are in 12th spot in 38 points. But they are officially knocked out. Can San Jose hang on to the 9th spot, or will they move up?
I think San Jose will. I think they're a tidy team. They haven't been in a while. So I'm hoping that they do, and I think that they will get in over FC Dallas like we just talked about. So, yes, I think they'll get in.
Yeah, I'd like to see them get into the playoffs over Matthew McConaughey's all right, Austin.
Well, and they already all right out.
Yeah.
Like, they gone. So he's going to be doing another Lincoln commercial with a Buffalo. Was that a Buffalo in that one?
They're all just hanging out at Matthew McConaughey's place, smoking up, playing bongos. They're actually having a great time.
Love it.
Along with Woody Harrelson.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He came out of the woods from his RV. They're having a great time.
Lastly, Sporting KC takes on the Loons, Minnesota United, 10th versus 11th, respectively, both on 41 points. So who you got? Who do you think gets in?
And she's still doing it?
No, I was just thinking, I believe he was one of the record-setting, 10th managers that have gotten sacked in the league this year, which is the most in league history. I don't believe it is now. Did you guys know this, though? Do you know who's playing striker for them?
I do not.
Not offhand.
A little lad by the name of Timu Pukki.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
From Norwich.
Yep,
right?
yep. And he scored a goal. And I was correct. And she's no longer with them. They have an interim head coach, Sean McAuley, who is going to be taking the helm there. So Timu Pukki in the playoffs.
He's got to go somewhere.
Yeah, but
right?
there a lot of talks. He could go to Portland. He could go to some other teams, but we'll certainly see. I kind of hope that they do get in just to see Timu Pukki in the playoffs.
That's awesome.
Because I don't think Sporting KC's been that good of a team this year. So yeah, I'd like to see them get in.
I'll take Minnesota United also because of our former coach at Orlando City, Inchi, Heath, went up there. And then he also took or one of Orlando's brightest players with him.
Was it Kevin Molino at the time?
Kevin Molino, who went there, thrived a bit, but had massive injury troubles.
He was always injured.
So just for that, I'm going to have to go for the Minnesota United. Blake, do you care?
You know, I don't know. It would be kind of fun to see. It would be kind of fun to see the Loons hop up in there. Not that they haven't been in there before.
Agreed.
I don't know. Supporting KC. Yeah, later. Let's see. They've had their chances.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, and now with that, that's right. Halftime whistle is blown, and we're going to get over to the Creeper of the Kielbasa. Crap, what was today's title?
Creeper of the Kielbasa?
It was the Carolina Reaper of the Chorizo and the Hiking Husband of the Hamburger Ron.
That's right. On that name, as I take it in honor of the fact the new Carolina pepper that is now the hottest, the new news that just broke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a brand new hybrid pepper is now the hottest one in the world. They just, every couple of years, they do a bunch of gene splicing and create a new hot beyond.
Good for them.
Yeah.
All right, Ron, give us that sweet beer news.
So
Pepper X, by the way, is what it's called.
I know.
Pepper X.
What a completely
extreme
unoriginal name.
Next, they're gonna have
it's very 90s of them.
Yeah.
It's T1000 pepper or the
T1000. Okay, so a couple of podcasts ago, I mentioned that Anchor Steam Brewing, who had been in a business for 127 years, making steam beer and a few other kinds, was being closed by their parent company, which is Japan's Sapporo Holdings Limited. Sadly, the employees and investors were not able to come to an agreement with various creditors, the Sapporo Holdings Company, and it is, in fact, being sold off and liquidated to pay for the various debts. So it's really sad because these guys have been brewing a very unique style of beer for 127 years. When Kim wrote us the email, he said that he had gone out and found a bunch and bought it all so that he could keep onto it. I recommend everybody does that. I found 2 bottles in Total Wine a couple of weeks ago. But something really cool is coming out of all this. The history that's in that brewery and the various parts of that building are going to live on in the Smithsonian Institute. So as part of the kind of liquidation of things, Teresa McCullough, the curator of the American Brewing History Initiative at the Smithsonian National Museum of American History, went over to Anchor Steam's property with the blessing of Sapporo, and she went and took a bunch of really cool old history and is going to display it at the Smithsonian.
That's cool.
That is pretty cool.
A great way, in my opinion, to kind of honor and pay homage to all the things that this brewery has kind of done. Some of the things that she's taking is various gear, like a long-handled copper spoon for tasting and pitching yeast and things like that. A giant painting of St. Nicholas, the patron saint of brewers, a big yellow sign that was the original logo that says Steam Beer on tap. A whole bunch of other different artifacts. You can head over to the San Francisco Standard website, which is sfstandard.com, and look up the Anchor Steam article. It's quite cool, all the stuff that they're going to go over. They're going to have barrels there, which required 6 iron hoops, which is more than the typical barrel, which only has 4. And that's because beer is so effervescent. They figured that out and kind of really started the trend for that kind of things. So there's a whole bunch of fun stuff that you can go through. You can see brewers' diaries, recipe books, just all kinds of stuff is going to go on display at the Smithsonian. So
that's pretty cool.
It's sad that they're going away, but it's cool that they're going to be honored by having a bunch of stuff in the Smithsonian.
Absolutely.
It just sucks they were bought and purchased by folks that didn't understand what they were doing and why they were, successful in the craft beer arena. And it's the downside of, craft beer's growing, so then all these investor groups get in and they screw it up completely.
Which, we do a soccer and beer podcast here, right? How many times have we seen that in various teams over in England where investors get in and downfall of the clubs, don't spend money wisely, don't understand, don't step out of the way. They don't understand
the culture.
Right. So there's a lot of that right now, and like craft beer at the time, similar to why you're seeing like, who was it that bought into Bournemouth, Bowley buying into Chelsea, Brady buying into Birmingham. It's almost like a popular thing to do right now. And is that, 5-10 years down the road, is that going to have a negative impact on these teams? We're seeing the impact that the Blazers have, though. So
Wrexham happened, and we'll see how the story plays out. But by all accounts, those two guys, while they got involved financially and sort of, I would say, sort of marketing wise, they let people who know how to do football do football.
Sure.
Right.
And you're always going to get those ones that really pan out well, but is that,
But that's what I'm saying. That's not what the lesson, how it is. That's not the lesson people are going to learn. They're going to, look what they did. They made a bunch of money. Let me go buy a team. Let me go do this. Let me go do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, it all goes to crap because, people do it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Or they do it because it's the popular thing to do, but they're not really interested in preserving the history of what the club is or what the brewery is. They're just trying to, in some way turn a profit. So they go in there and they do things, quote, their way. And, in some ways, I'm sure that helps out. And in other ways, I think it's probably a detriment.
Sure. Yeah, because a lot of them didn't become billionaires, millionaires by doing things other people's way.
Yeah.
Right. So you're right. In some respect it does, but they also made their money in something else that was probably different than beer, something else different than soccer. Right. And I just heard some news recently, and Ron, I don't know if I'm telling you this for the first time. One of the breweries in town, gold medal winning brewery of one of their beers, Deadwards. Article in the Orlando Sentinel. They just fired for Chapter 11.
Yep.
So, who know? A lot of situations there. Head brewer's no longer there, and some other things that kind of played out throughout the course. Won't go into great detail on all that, but yeah, it can happen, and you could get into it, spend a bunch to get into it, do what you're doing here, and then not realize you might be in over your head. You might not have the people in place to have that succeed in the long term. A number of factors can play into that. So shame for Anchor Brewing, certainly.
And that, my friends, is all the news that's fit to drink.
Damn, that should have been your Halloween episode. That was spooky and depressing.
Oh no, the Halloween episode is
Next episode.
much better.
Thank you for the preview laugh. Well, now it's time to go to Ferris as we kick off the La Liga's roundup.
And we'll just stay in the good old US of A.
Who just won?
They just won 4-0 against Ghana, but you know what they didn't do? It's not Stanford, Connecticut. What's the other one? What's the main play in Connecticut? Hartford. Yep. Hartford, Connecticut. They were up 1-0 in the first half against Germany. Lovely Pulisic goal. A worldie. But then promptly give up a goal before half and then give up another two in the second half and look like complete poo-poo. It's a friendly. It's a friendly, but you're going to want to compete when the World Cup's here in a few years' time. Germany's are the teams you have to beat.
Yeah.
Or at least compete with and not give up and not squander, you know? So I don't know if you guys saw a lot of that game, but it was quite spooky and depressing to watch some of the defending, ball control, that sort of thing in terms of how they gave up. And Germany was just all over them and just attack after attack after attack. And yeah, they were the better team.
Yep. They definitely made us or capitalized on and made us punish all those mistakes we made.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to something less depressing.
Well, hold on real quick. Blake, I asked Ron this before the pod, and I'm wondering if you know this. So today they played Ghana. The U.S. just won 4-0, I believe. Some lovely goals, all of which in the first half. Last time we played Ghana, because we played them in the past, not the past, but the 2007, 10, 14 World Cup and knockout or group stage. But last time we played them was in 2017, and there was 2 goal scorers, one of which was Kellen Acosta. Do you know who the other one was?
Oh, I do not. What year?
2017, and it would have been a striker that played for them.
I don't remember.
Also played for, the hint that Ferris gave me was they also played for Orlando City. I thought it was Breck Shea. I was wrong. Breck Shea's not a striker.
Not Chris Mueller was.
I tried Chris Mueller. That wasn't it.
Blake?
Well, I mean, it wouldn't have been the what's his nuts from Canada because
he's Canadian. Yeah, no, I think you answered that yourself.
Laren, Kyle Laren.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of striker. I don't know who would it be.
Forgotten name almost. Dom Dwyer.
He scores what he wants.
Yeah.
How did I forget that?
Yeah, I forgot it too until I heard a stat on the radio today, and then I think they actually said it on the broadcast as well. But I was like, wow, I forgot he decided to play for the U.S. I'm like, our striker problems are solved. Nope.
Yeah, we wanted him so bad, remember?
Yeah. He scores when he wants, except
he didn't.
Doesn't.
And then washed out and went up to Toronto, right? Or where the hell did he go?
I thought after us, he went to Sporting KC.
No, he was
from
at Sporting KC.
Oh, you're right.
He went somewhere up north, I thought. I thought it was Toronto.
Who cares?
Anyways, moving on. Over in the Euros, England beat Italy today 3-1 to qualify for the Euros, while Portugal, who are just absolutely steamrolling their way through qualifying, with only giving up 2 goals along the way, scoring 32 and winning all 8 of their games. Oh, absolutely steamrolling teams. So, in the Euros, which is what's been going on the past 2 weeks in this international break, here are the teams that have qualified thus far. Germany are the host. Spain.
But he's at Atlanta United? Sorry, I just had to look it up.
He might still be, but yeah, that wasn't his team right after us.
Okay.
Yeah. So, teams that have qualified. Germany host. Spain, Scotland getting in. Wonderful job by Scotland. Scott McTominay, who's the Villa player. I can't think of his damn name. He's been leading the charge. Anyways, France, England, as I just said, qualified. Turkey, Austria, Portugal, and Belgium. Now, sad news yesterday as the Euro qualifier between Belgium and Sweden was abandoned after the players decided not to come out for the second half following reports of a shooting in Brussels where 2 Swedish football fans were killed. Great decision by the players and everyone involved in that decision, but extremely sad news and just a sad patch on the world's game, and our hearts certainly go out to those affected.
I had not heard about that.
Yeah, that happened yesterday, I believe. McGinn, that's the guy's name for Scotland. There we go. Some other headlines. A lot of reports of the sale of Manchester United this past week, boys.
Not really.
Well, it is. It is in a way. It's just been a saga, right? So
it is an important change. Though.
Yes. So Qatari businessmen. Geez, I have the case of the Blakes right now. Sheikh Hassan bin Hamad withdrew his bid. His bid was essentially going to be for 100% of the club. He was going to reinvest in the stadium, reinvest in the town, reinvest and clear all of the debt that United has over the years.
And not only was he not going to clear the debt, he was going to incur no new debt for a specific amount of time.
Correct.
Which I think is a very important part to his deal when you put it in comparison to Radcliffe's.
Right. And they the Glazers right now are valuing the club at more than $5 billion, which came somewhere in like the $6 billion range, $5 billion for the club, and then $6 billion for all these other things that the Sheikh wanted to do. Now I'll get to that here in a second because it sounds so good. You're like, oh my gosh, he's going to do all of this, clear the debt, pump money into the city, to the stadium, to the training ground, yada, yada, yada. Why the hell wouldn't you do this, right? I'll get back to that here in a second because I thought about something today that I don't know if it's true, but it could play into it. Now, to Ron's point, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is reported to be paying $1.3 billion for what would be 25% of Manchester United, which means the majority stake would still be owned by the Glazers.
But
now there's a board meeting tomorrow to fully solidify this, but all reports are that sale will go through for 25%.
But that 25% is a big thing because that 25% is for the football operations.
Correct.
It's not for marketing. It's not for the commercial side of the stadium. It's not for shirt sponsors, stadium sponsors. It's just playing the actual stuff that goes into on the field, which is a very weird silo.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Right. Where in what was it? A lot of their debt right now has not been, because the Glazers really haven't pumped any of their own funds into it.
Right.
All the debt's been gained from player transfers and that sort of thing. Now, a lot of things that the Glazers are being, chastised for is, yes, they pumped money into the club, a lot of it's debt and that sort of thing, but they haven't hired the right people to build a team.
And it took them forever to make
build
decisions.
Football players, right? Like we're still paying for like loan players, their wages. People are on huge wages that shouldn't be. We rebought Paul Pogba back. We've just done some really dumb decisions, right? Now, 25% from Jim Ratcliffe. The theory is he buys in now, many years down the road. If he's still alive, I think, because he's not the youngest gen out there. That's why he's a sir. But is for eventually the majority buying of Manchester United. He has not run him and his company Ineos have not run their France club very well, in my opinion. And from a lot of reports, and you can go and read things on that. Now, one thing that I thought about today, though, is are the Glazers, and I love to think this, I don't think this is actually true, so let me just say what I'm going to say first. Are the Glazers going, we're not going to sell to Qatari funds. We're not going to have a buyout from funds that are questionable from a country that's questionable, that the World Cup got a lot of heat from, and those type of things. And we're going to keep that more in country and bring in somebody that is more respected in the country that stays within England. And eventually we'll get to a full sale. I don't know if that's true, but I thought, could that be it, right? Rather than have a takeover of that and have, yes, a lot of praise because you're selling it, but then bet down the line, bad publicity for who bought you, a sovereign state, those type of things where You don't know where these funds are necessarily coming from. Is it this, that, those type of things? Possibly. With that said, my vote's always can be to vote them out of Manchester United, every stock vote that I get. But for right now, by all accounts, they will still hold a majority share with 67% of the share holding the majority.
I will say that my thought with this announcement that he would have 25%, and could, be helping with the, getting the football director and all that kind of stuff. Right. That I was like, I wonder if this allows the Glazers to just blame someone else if it goes wrong and take attention off of them.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's certainly a way to do it. I think so. There's seemingly a boatload of rumors going around about who's out and why and all that kind of stuff. But it really seems like the Glazers themselves can't make up their minds between who wants out and who wants in. Right? I think that, excuse me.
Well, and what they don't want is to give up that majority share.
But some of the Glazer family seems to want out completely. Others are like, no, we should hold on. There's other rumors saying that the Qataris were tired of the Glazers' antics.
Sure.
And that's why they pulled out.
Can't blame them.
Not that the Glazers forced them out.
Can't blame them.
Right. And this carrot has been dangling for
over a year now.
Quite some time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know that I'm a pessimist. If you've been listening to this pod, you're probably aware of that. I'm a pessimist. I don't think that the Glazers have the presence of mind to say we're not going to sell it to a questionable country and a questionable company. I think if they really wanted out, it would be the first bidder that gave them the money they wanted. They'd be gone, and it wouldn't matter if they were, Russian oligarchs or, oil money barons. I think they'd just take the money and go. So I believe in the MO of the Glazers, which is essentially they'd be dangling the carrot and kind of jerking people around.
I think going to Blake's point to kind of wrap this up is, Blake, I think you very well could be right? Somebody else to blame for the football side of things, right? When things aren't going well on the pitch.
If it works, they can look geniuses.
So then go, well, we're not doing that. Which then brings me to the point of the Glazers aren't in it for the right reasons. They're in it for the commercial aspects, for the shirt deals, for all of that. And that is very profitable for United, and that's what has gotten them on the stock market, and all those deals are doing very, very well off the field. But it hasn't translated over the past decade of results on the field. So, yeah, I think, Blake, that's a very good point from you, because that could be now the football side. Well, we're not in charge of that. We're just in charge of giving this $2 billion shirt deal that's lasting us 10 years, or this, that, and the other.
It'll be so weird if that deal does go through. It'll be weird and interesting to see how that plays out between the siloing of the football operations and the commercial side. Because when you think about player transfers, the football side does not pay for those players. The commercial side does. So when, the football operations side wants a player, then they got to go ask mom and dad for money. And then there's going to be this continual finger pointing of, you didn't get the job done. Well, you didn't tell me you wanted them. Well, you wouldn't pay for them. Yeah. I think it's going to just be,
a complete mess.
It's going to be worse than it is now.
It could be. Just the potential sale of somebody else besides them brings a little bit of hope to United fans.
Sure.
But looking long-term and how this might play out, that's going to really pan out over the next few months. So we'll see. But that does bring us to, finally, the Premier League is back.
No.
What?
No, you don't get to read this one. I'm going to read it. I'm going to tell you why.
Okay, go ahead.
And finally, Premier League's back this weekend. Ferris wrote this, everybody, by the way. It's why I'm going to read this one. With the Premier League match of fixtures being the Chelsea Blues, the big one of the weekend being Chelsea Blues of London as they take on the Reds of London, Arsenal. Do you want to have a bet, beer boys? And to that, I think Ron will join me in a big old FU to Ferris.
Oh, whoa.
Because Ron tried to bet you a beer.
Yeah, no, I understand what he did.
And you could have taken a rare Ron. You can't turn around and see if Ron will bet a beer now.
Sure, I can.
It's ridiculous.
Your two teams are playing.
No.
Yes,
He
yes,
bet you.
That's not even the same thing.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I write the content.
I mean, that part's true.
You had a chance. A golden white whale opportunity. Ron was making the bet, and you didn't take it.
No, because I'm the one that sucked down more bet beers on this pod over the past 7 years that we've been doing this. That I would like to live through more beer that's not bad beer.
Man United, you really don't think Man United will end above Chelsea? I feel like that was
I
a
don't know.
gimme.
I really don't know. I've been being honest with you. I really don't know. Anyways, going on to this weekend's matches before we end the La Liga's roundup. Merseyside Derby, first up on Saturday. Least Premier League's back. 7:30 a.m. Eastern, Liverpool and Everton at Anfield. 10 a.m. matches include Bournemouth taking on Wolves, Brentford taking on Burnley, Man City taking on Brighton. Ooh, like that one there. Newcastle United taking on Palace, and Nottingham taking on Luton. A lot of 10 a.m. matches there. That takes us to Chelsea versus Arsenal, the 12:30 match, and then the rare 3 p.m., which United's had a couple times now, which is kind of weird. But Sheffield United take on Manchester United at Bramall Lane. And then Sunday, Villa take on West Ham. Good match. Good match. Sneaky good there. And it could quite possibly be the best match of the Premier League weekend. And then on Monday, Tottenham take on Fulham at Tottenham Stadium. So, gentlemen, that has been your La Liga's roundup.
It's always nice when some Premier League. It always feels weird when the Premier League isn't happening. It makes me sad.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's wrap this thing up. Our beers of the pod. I had the Futz Saison from Reverie Brewing in Newtown, Connecticut. I'm sorry, I'm new here. I keep saying things wrong. I'm discovering the way they're supposed to be said. But delicious beer, nonetheless.
Ferris and I had an incredible blackberry coffee stout.
Very good. Very good.
From Mellow Mink Brewing in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Thanks to my sister for
Thank you
carting that
very
over.
much. Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to guess it's Newtown, Connecticut, looking at it. But I really thought Walcott, Connecticut was pronounced like that. And everybody's like, it's Walcott. So, I'm standing out like a sore thumb over here. Ferris, you got a Zlatan quote for us?
I do have the one that Kim provided. So he was reading this article, and I don't even know, but Zlatan did an interview with Piers Morgan the other day. So during this interview, it was about players in Saudi and putting their, I guess he's at risk, where he took a little bit of a shot at Ronaldo and some other things. But the quote and the article, because Kim did send over the article as well. But the quote that he said was, "Nothing is for free. You," referring to Piers Morgan, "don't work for free. I don't work for free. I don't need money, but I am very expensive."
You gotta love it.
I love that.
He's not short on ego.
And I will quickly add a second one, the one that I had saw that was today. If I can find it real quick. If not, we'll move on real quick. I think we'll just move on because I can't find it. So next week's.
Perfect.
Well, I thought about doing something a little different. You guys are going to think I'm doing a joke, but it's actually not a joke. Maybe every now and then I got to take a break from the joke and I'll come back to it. Because I have some fun Halloween ones for Sock, but I feel like I should save those for our next episode. So instead, Ferris, you got me a wonderful Christmas gift way too long ago of the Arsene Wenger book. Because I have a kid, it takes me forever to read a book. So while I've been up here in Connecticut, I've actually been finally sitting down and reading this sucker, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and seriously, this is not a joke. And I know the more I say that, the more you guys are going to be convinced it's a joke, but it really isn't. But I came across this bit that he wrote, and I thought, my goodness, this is one of those things that like they'll tell business people and leaders to like read stuff like this, because I thought it was so awesome. And so I'm going to supplant my dad joke from Mr. Daddy of Arsenal soccer for a quote of his. And what he's talking about is how to work with players, right? And what a coach has to do. And he says a coach should keep two-way communication permanently open. A coach tends to overestimate the effectiveness of his own communication. So there are some rules that need to be taken into account. On average, 2/3 of people would do more if their qualities were better recognized. Less than 30% of players apply the recommendations they've been given owing to a lack of confidence, a lack of respect for the coach, or a lack of clarity and practical recommendations. It's important to be clear in one's recommendations in order to boost confidence and improve performance. When expressing a negative point to someone about their performance and development, one should put forward 3 positive points as well. One should not aim for multiple objectives, just 1 or 2 are enough. And one must never forget that time and place are very important. Becoming a footballer is undoubtedly a difficult ambition, but it is also one in which you run the risk of slipping into a comfort zone because it's a team game in which an individual player can hide.
Very well said by him.
Right?
You know, you said something in there, time and place. The amount of times that I have coached my leadership team on, it's not the things that you say, the feedback that you give necessarily always. Sometimes it's that time and place that you do it.
And how you do it.
And how you do it, right?
Yeah.
And that's essentially what Wenger's saying there. And yeah, that's well done. I'm glad you're getting to that book. I'm starting to get to the Sir Alex book as well. So
it's great. I mean, it's one of those things that, like, the longer you do something, right? So work professionally in this field, I think the more you learn, like, God, it's all the same. It doesn't matter what you're working in. Like there are simple truths that just apply.
People.
And
Still
like,
working with
I
people.
read that and I was like, oh, well, yes. I mean, forget that it's about soccer, just boom in general. And he goes on after that, talk about how, like, because of the money and popular players get entourages, like that stuff gets in the way. But like that specific beginning part, like, so accurate to like being a good leader. And there's a ton of stuff in his book that is like, man, this guy really had no business going on to do what he did. And like, because of where he came, it just makes no sense. Like, it is really wild to see his path and be like, that is nuts. Like, he really shouldn't have gotten there. But he's like so practical, even from like a young age, that you totally see why people are like, hey, you know what? Let this guy do it. He's 2 years older than the rest of the players. It'll be fine. Let this guy do it. It's a really cool book. And I didn't realize that who's like the Ballon d'Or winner that he like kind of helped discover. Gary Wealth. Oh gosh, why am I forgetting his name? But the dude actually gave him his Ballon d'Or at the ceremony.
Huh? Very cool.
But yeah. Anyway, really good book. No jokes. Just thank you. I'm super enjoying this thing. I have to do my laundry at a laundromat. I haven't done that since college. So Wenger comes with me and hangs out. We read about soccer while I'm doing the laundry.
That's awesome.
All right, gents. Always a pleasure.
Awesome, buddy.
Kim, thanks for being part of this episode, and we will get your kit ordered out to you soon, bud. All right, gentlemen. Love the beer. Cherish the game. The beautiful game.